All right. Oh my goodness. Ladies, gentlemen, and humans of badassery, you have no idea the ninjery and the fuckery that has gone into this conversation. And I'm telling you, every episode that you listen to here is a hold on to your hats episode. But this one, I'm like almost like slightly peeing myself in anticipation of the fire and gold that I know is going to come through. And there are a couple reasons for that. In fact, if I told you all the reasons, we'd be here all day. But reason number one, the one and only Meadow Mary, what an incredible, just says yes to soul, to truth, to fire, to flow woman that this is, who I get to speak with today and get to share that conversation with you. I've known Meadow for I don't know how many years now. I could have checked before I got on. I didn't think of that, but it's a good number of years. And she's one of those women who she stood out to me online before I first got to know her more intimately when she came worked with me as a client for a period. And she stood out in a way where I was kind of like, ooh, this one's got some sass, but this one's got some fire. But more interestingly, and I do like a bit of sass, more interestingly, sass combined with deep truth that you need to hear. And to this day, whenever I see Meadows post pop up on my feed, I'm just like, look at you. Like, you just stand out and shine. And not just because it is such a powerful message that you share, but it's like the random just weirdness and crazy and awesome and unapologetic too muchness of letting your full, I'm not even gonna say like let your full crazy fly, like I like to use that sort of expression, but just let the full energy and frequency of you being you fly. And ultimately that's what I'm about. That's what these conversations are about. And so I can't wait to get into this. And then the other reason why I just know that this episode is going to be extra gold is we had like so many back and forth situations to get this recording done. And this is our second time recording the interview. So the first one has been released into the cloud and the heavens, and bits of it could be utilized maybe as like a show wrap or something. But yeah, it's been a journey and we're ready. Welcome.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Oh, Kat, thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. Such an honor. I just love to have conversations with amazing humans. So we are going to do exactly that, as we do, or as I do every time I jump on here. And I guess what I wanted to start with is just to ask you to speak a little from a perspective of somebody who has built success online. You've built success not only financially and not only through your ability to impact and transform the lives of others, but also in the sense of you live your life really intentionally. You live your life from a perspective of being who you're here to be, and like continually journeying deeper into you, whether it's as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a coach, as a messenger, but also as a mom and as a wife, and just so on and so forth. And I think it's just it it's to be so greatly commended, firstly, because it's a little more rare than what it maybe ideally could be, but it's also so fascinating and such an important topic to dive into for those who are listening and watching, to really hear from someone who has created quote unquote success, in a way that's tangible, measurable, etc., but who has done it from soul, done it from a place of I get to be all of me, and done it from a place of holding integrity and a strong personal code around the other areas of their lives. So I just wanted to ask you, not really a direct question as such, but more so to speak to what that journey's really been about for you. Was it always as simple or obvious as, well, I'm going to do what I'm here to do, and I'm going to do it while also living my life purposefully in all the different areas? Or, where's the fuckery been, or where have the biggest lessons been for you? Yeah, just anything that you want to share speaking to that.
Well, you know why I'm laughing. I mean, because it's all in hindsight that we kind of gather these really nice little like polished nuggets of gold to be like, yes, here we are. I have this and I have that and I have that. But like in the moment, it's just like, like there's literally no brain activity going on. It's like all heart, all muscle, all gut, and some pee. Like, and I would be lying if there weren't some poo too,
And maybe
because
pink sequins, like sparkly pink things.
there's always sparkly pink things. But yeah, like it's, I really wish I could say, oh, yes. Kat, I started out and I was like, no, I'm going to do this purposefully and with integrity, and I'm going to put my family first, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
build a bit. No, it was like, I mean, it started the way it started, which was really kind of dramatically. And like, I got to do something. What can I do? I'll do this. Like, it kind of started like that. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm like really good at this actually. And I absolutely love this. And I can help people do their work in the world. Like, wait, this is my work in the world. I can help you do your work in the world. Like, this is actually like, I'm onto something here. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
just something I can do because I'm 7 months pregnant and we need some money and
Yeah.
oh, I can help women start businesses. No, like it was as all big things start, it was just I saw the next step and then I didn't see anything after that and I saw the next one and I took it and then I took the next one and then I took the next one and it was like I didn't know I was walking up a staircase.
I think like you said it would, it would be nice to be able to say that it started from that way. I feel like what message would that be though, right? And the
I
whole
know,
point,
right?
right?
Who
So
does that?
obviously
Nobody does that.
nobody does.
Nobody.
Nobody does.
No.
However, commonly, frequently, in fact, dominantly, people do, particularly at earlier stages in their business, but honestly, even at the more, advanced stages, so to speak, people do look at women who really stand out with confidence, with grace, with certainty, and they can communicate and they're charismatic, and then on top of it, they have the audacity to be like hot and funny and everything as well. And people do look at women like you, like many of my clients, friends, women who I interact with, and they definitely do assign us some sort of like I don't know, special, like God has smiled upon us sort of a container, like, oh, well, she's just like that, right? Like she just somehow rolled out of the womb, like confident, certain, with her shit together. And so it's so important to share this and to share the bits where like I was figuring it out as I was figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out as I'm figuring it out, right? We find the path by being on it. But I know for me, like from a very young age, there was a feeling of there being a call there. And it was always like a gradual answering of the call. My question to you is, was there a certain point where you had a realization or a revelation or a clarity around, I need to do something different and I don't know what that looks like, or that you had, I guess, inklings as you were, growing up and as you're a girl and then teen and so on? Or did it just kind of like some people get smacked in the face from soul, like, boom, now it's time?
Yeah, like sometimes I'll listen to like, other people talk and everything, and I just had no fucking clue. Like I knew what I was doing was not it. Like I had like I think like 30 something jobs
Mm-hmm.
after graduating. Like it was not it was not good. It was not good. And I was so bad at all of them. And the one thing I wanted most was just like, I mean, my best friends, my husband, like they heard this all the time. I was just like, I just want to know my purpose. Like I would just walk around like, I just want to know, like, because it's not this. What is it? It's not this. And oh my God, I did everything from like fundraising at like Ivy League universities and to computer programming and building programs at Ivy League university. Like I did like domestic violence stuff. They were great things. They just were not me. They weren't my things. I wasn't great at them and I had no idea. So it was for sure just this a smack in the face after I started working with women to start businesses. And honestly, in hindsight, I've always been the motherfucker that people come to when they want a permission to like do the crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, Meadow, I'm thinking about like asking this guy out. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like, or I'm thinking about going on this trip or like, quitting my job and, you know, starting this or that or the other or whatever. And I was always like, yeah, definitely. Like, and so I've always been doing it. I
Yeah.
just had no idea.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? We're continually answering some sort of pull within us before we even know that we're doing that, and everything's just gradually aligning kind of like to this point, but then this point is aligning us to the next point.
Yeah.
And what makes you unique though, and us unique, and like really most people listening to this unique, is that we do actually pay attention, maybe not always right away, but bit by bit. Was there a particular moment within your business, like once you did get underway and you got started, where you really realized, like, what was it that helped you to really realize, oh, this is what I do, or this is what I'm here for? Because we're speaking about purpose, and you've mentioned
Yeah.
hindsight a couple of times, like we kind of realize things with hindsight. I know that one of the big things people do want and desire is to hear and understand, like, how do you get to that bit where you feel certain that actually, like, yes, there's still more that I don't know and that I'll see, but meanwhile I am like on it with my purpose, this is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah. Like, I think I kind of have a weird unconventional path because of like, I found myself selling skincare, like for a direct sales company, something I would never have done.
Mm.
And that's not like my style. That's not what I do. I didn't even wash my face before. I'm like a dirty hippie, so like I just I mean, I like did end up washing my face and I like loved the stuff. I was selling it authentically, but really what I was doing was I found a way to make money when I was 7 months pregnant and couldn't go back and we needed money. I couldn't go back and get my job at 7 months pregnant. They were like, "No. We know you don't like it anyway, Meadow." And I was like, "Fine." But then what I really loved was working with women to get out of their own heads and just start building their own thing. But I wanted very quickly realize, so this was like, drama kind of put me there. And of course, in hindsight, I'm thankful for it. Like, because I never would have done that on my own, ever, ever. So then very quickly realized, yeah, I mean, I want to help women put themselves out there, but I want to help them do it in their own thing, not like selling skincare. Like it's cool, but it's not. It's a ceiling that you hit rather quickly of a lack of creative expression, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was fast. That was fast, and I was in and out. Started my own thing within a year. Like, but the thing that you said before, where like, do people fall out of bed like this? Like, no. Like, I think the people that we probably all look at, you know, that are doing and speaking seemingly unedited, unfiltered, and unapologetically are literally the ones who had to overcome the most shit in order to do that. Like,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I was like mute. My first Facebook Live isn't even on because I faked technical difficulties and shut that shit down.
Yeah. Wow.
Like,
I love
went
that.
blank. Like,
I mean, I don't
blank.
love it for you in that moment in time, but I love just the rawness and the realness about it.
Oh my
Being
God, no, it
human.
was oh gosh, yeah, like it was I I knew I was supposed to start talking. Like I had things to say, didn't know what they were. Didn't know what they were. But I knew that I was supposed to start talking. And that was right around the time of like Periscope and Facebook
Mm-hmm.
Live and like everybody starting to like, do this like live content. And so I was like, getting ready, getting like, okay, we're gonna do this, right? And I would like make everybody go in their own respective rooms in the house and wait till the babies were down so they wouldn't, disturb me or, start beating the crap out of each other. And I would just get on and practice. My first one, not there anymore, but my second one, that's still up. And I talked about planners. Like I just talked about the thing I could talk about without crapping myself. And it was planners, and then it was
Yeah.
clothes, like on a post pregnancy, like probably 50 pounds overweight body. Like, how do I do this? It was the most random shit, Kat, that I was talking about,
I
that I
love
was
that so much.
practicing.
Right? Like this is the thing, and letting the raw, random, real stuff come out, like
Yeah.
literally publicly, to where it's still there,
Yeah.
hopefully. But
Yeah.
also, it's the understanding that to get to a place of, continual apparent with ease communication and being somebody who can show up in their message and their truth and their power and their magnetism day to day, it requires that at some point that person was willing to let it be really like random or clunky or whatever it is. Like, I got my first Periscope, which was my first ever live stream. It's still there. It's literally like, firstly, I didn't know it was sideways the whole time. Secondly,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I truly needed some like eyebrow intervention in my life at that time, and I didn't know. Like, I'm not kidding. My eyebrows look like one of those cardiographs. Like, they're actually
Oh,
zigzaggy. Like, it's actually like,
somebody needs to go back and look at how many wait, Periscope is not around anymore, is it?
I uploaded it onto Facebook years ago. It's out
No,
there.
but people are gonna go find this now.
Oh, they should.
You do
But
know this.
but it was like 3 minutes.
We should go look at the views
What's
and
interesting
like and see if it
when
goes
I
up.
rewatched it, apart from the eyebrow horror, and it actually was horror. It's actually like, how is that even humanly possible? But I said on it something like, I don't really know what this thing's gonna be, but I feel like it could be something I get addicted to, or something like that. And the thing is, though, like, I love that those older videos are out there, like yours, mine, so many of my amazing clients, friends, people who I know. I just think it's so cool, and people looking continually at the polished, finished product. And so you're one of the women who I know and do know, but not just like see on social or whatever, but actually know, who is one of the most expressive, and as I said earlier, like in your power, in your truth, in your grace, etc., important work. But at the same time, yeah, you bring the sass and the funniness, and it's just, you being you. And is there anything that you could say really did tip you over the edge to a point of that level of bold authenticity and, unapologetic too muchness? Because it is kind of that like too much woman type stuff. Or did it just kind of naturally build because you kept showing up? Like, so if somebody's watching or listening, and as a lot of people are, they know that they need to express more. They need to let their crazy out. They need to let their random out, the funny shit, the self-conscious shit, the bits where, hello, no, we already know that you're not a perfect mother, human, whatever. Like, none of us are. And maybe they watch you, or they watch people, like you, like me, etc., and they feel like, I just can't seem to quite bring myself to actually like reveal and share and show. Was it for you that it just kind of gradually evolved that way because you did just start talking about like clothes or baby weight or whatever? Or was there a moment in time where you made some sort of conscious choice or commitment as to how you were going to show up in business?
It's probably both. So, like, there's definitely, and I can point to a couple of moments where, phases, not moments, but where I was like really uncomfortable because I knew there was like another layer, and I needed to strip down, or take that layer off, and I didn't. You can't. You don't know how. You're just like, it's. I mean, I can move through those easier now, but this was like 5, 7 years ago or whatever, where you're just so uncomfortable. There's something more. There's something more you're supposed to be saying, doing, showing up as, and you're like kind of waiting for it, and you're just kind of like, and so there's like a bunch of those that I can point
Mm-hmm.
to, and um, but then there's also like, I was lucky enough to like find people like you who, like, I literally took my first course from you like over 5 years ago. And I mean, talk about giant permission slips. Like, it was like, oh, this is a good thing. Okay, I can be, you know, I can be dorky, funny, serious, silly, sexy, hysterical, angry, like whatever. And then it became just a practice
Mm,
or two practice, like
right.
many messy practices. And I still feel like there's more, obviously, always
Of course.
more, and things that I am clunky at when I'm showing up. And
Hmm.
of course, but like, oh my gosh, yeah. So like both, I would say both.
Right. And it's not just that you can be those things, it's that it's a responsibility and a requirement. And the way that you impact people by being you is not in spite of that you do let all those different just mentioned parts of you out and so much more, but
Yeah.
it's a follow on, it's a byproduct, and the thing is that we don't attract in the people who are truly for us without being who we truly are. I mean, it's like that's just bad math. It doesn't even make any sense. So one of the things that we spoke about on our last interview, the one which is just full of glitches and so we're re-recording now, is we spoke about that it comes from beyond you, right? Like
Mm,
there's a level to which what you're doing, what you're sharing publicly on social media. But I would say also in your structured like coursework and that side of things, where it's coming from beyond you, it's coming from through you. Did you find that scary, particularly to do with creating actual courses and, so-called structured work? Because I know for me that was a big area where I really like took me some time to get into, as you say, permission, rather than feeling like, am I doing something bad? There's so much ingrained in us around success, but also like professionalism and doing things
yeah.
properly, that everything should be properly like structured and thought out, and that there's a formula and that there's dot points. Whereas how you show up, how I show up, how anyone that I kind of do business or life with shows up is it's not that simple. And in fact, a lot of it, and in fact, the real magic and gold is definitely not coming from some notes I wrote down earlier.
No.
How have you stepped into permission for that? And was it scary?
I wouldn't have created anything if I would have had to put out some like list and organized structure. Like I literally wouldn't be here. So it was I am the most unorganized, hot mess, like fly by the seat of my pants kind of person, just naturally. And then you throw like two young kids in the mix, and it was just like there was no sales page, there was nothing. It was just like me and a PayPal link,
Yeah.
like that's it. And I think it was out of, I mean, I of course I work with women who don't have children. A lot of my clients have children, and I just think it's like the biggest blessing for women who want to do this business and have kids, because you basically just know that you're going to do what you're going to do in like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here. Like they're the biggest fire under your ass, or they were for me. I mean, they were the biggest fire under my ass. Like just, yeah, I couldn't do all that, so I just didn't. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but like the first course I took was that's not true. The first course I took was very organized, but the second course I took was way more my style, and it was you, and it was, so I just knew that I didn't have to.
Mm.
Like so I just did it.
Yeah. And it's just a reality for like pretty much any women I know who have kids, which is also a pretty high percentage of my clientele. But like it's interesting that you said, you just know that you do it 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, or whatever. And a lot of people
You
just
just do
don't
it.
know that, and they are literally like years in even beating themselves up with the you're not good enough stick to say I should be, like actually the most common thing that I hear, I don't know if you get this from clients that come to you, the most common thing I get from clients who come to me wanting to work with me privately and they already have, a pretty like reasonable, significant level of online success and monetary success is I just know that to go to that next level and to make like that sort of money, that sort of money, that sort of money that your clients make, Kat, that I just need to get more structured, more organized, and like quote unquote do things properly. And I'm like, ooh, you come to the wrong place if you think that's what I'm going to teach you. But actually, like, your soul knows something totally different. And I just love
Yeah.
how like, okay, you maybe like had that first course that you did that was more like organized or whatnot, telling you how to be, and then you
Yeah.
came across my work, so that was timely. But it's obviously also you responding, like even how you would have found me, you responding to a true part of you where you ultimately knew on that soul level that you do get to be you and you do get to do it your way. And even mentioning that you had 30 jobs, I think this is again like something I do hear quite commonly, and I was similar as well, because maybe we had a period during our life where we felt like, man, I just need to settle down and learn how to follow through on something. But actually what you were doing that whole time by continually moving was you were aligning. And sometimes
Yeah.
when we're aligning to who we most deeply are, we are beating up on ourselves thinking we're doing something wrong. So at the moment, or even like recently, or even over the past few years, do you still have times? I mean, I know you do. I know that you're human, but like for the question, let's pretend I'm not sure whether or not she's human. Do you still have times where you find yourself overcomplicating, or kind of like saying to yourself, man, I got to get it together in this area? And then how do you ultimately bring yourself into a deeper trust in you, which unlocks the next level?
I might actually surprise you here because I I think I became quite on board with the lack of just not only inability, like just absolute talentless at organization. Like I just don't aspire to it. Like I don't aspire to it. So like I don't complicate anything when it comes to business. Like I just don't have this knee-jerk reaction to overcomplicate anything. Like in fact, I would say like I could stand for a little more complication in things because I'm just like so uncomplicated when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
it. But I will
I
say
love that.
that I will say that the things that I overcomplicate are not systems and structures. They're
Yeah.
for sure still because of where I came from, because I had to like battle so much up in here. It's still that stuff. I mean, it's still like mindset 101 stuff. It's like, can I just fucking relax and say what I want to say? What even is that? Because there's so much mind chatter and like just calming
Mm.
the hell down and finding it in those moments. So I'm still like trying to, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this doesn't go away. Maybe it does. Who knows? I'm here for it now, but I'm still like, that's the stuff I'm trying to like break the complication in and make it a little more streamlined. But no, I'm still like such a sucker for a PayPal link and an email. Like, let's go, let's rock and roll,
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah,
Like,
and probably what I meant with the question was more about like where, if anywhere, do you overcomplicate it still, or
it's
overthink or
that.
whatever. And I love that you shared that around. Yeah, there's still those moments of
Oh God,
hesitation
yeah, for
on
sure.
essentially on
Hmm.
being fully you. And I feel like life, inherently is about like the continual permission, but also responsibility and discipline to be fully you. And, I like to talk a lot about things like flow being a discipline, like discipline to flow, or that the highest discipline is discipline to truth, discipline to soul, discipline to who we know we're meant to be, that sort of thing. And so a lot of the time, particularly with women who have a business that is in some way creating, let's say, polarization, or it's just a bit different, or it's just a bit, stand out, sassy, spiky, all those different things. It's super common nowadays, and like to a point where there's strategy around it, right? Like literally
Hmm.
you can go look at, I mean, I wouldn't suggest it's going to put you to sleep, but you can go and look at like strategies on how to, build engagement
Yeah.
and whatnot on social media. And people are going to include in that planning and strategy, like, you know, include confrontational or polarizing type posts. And the thing is, like, we can feel it, anyone can feel that. Whereas you just being all of you, what we're talking about here is you naturally letting all the different, kind of like moving, shifting parts of you come out. So there's a relaxedness to that. And this question this is like kind of like a little bit of a leap, but it's just but it's where my mind is going. What do you do outside of business and outside of just like the craziness of being a mom and everything, as well as having a business and just, all that life has? What do you do to keep yourself in check? Like, what are your
Yeah.
practices or routines that are, maybe not secrets, but like not known, not seen as such? What
Oh
helps?
gosh. And essential.
Mm-hmm.
They're like lifelines. My non-negotiables, so to speak. I don't know that I would call them that, but somebody called them that today because I was just talking about this today. Um, yeah, I mean, it's for sure moving my body like
Mm-hmm.
every day, walk in nature. Um, if I can, lift something heavy for like an hour, that's a bonus. I try to
I
do
love
that like
that.
that. I mean, that's like, yeah, I feel like you're like daily. Do you do this daily, Kat? Like you're like, yeah. See, I'm like 4 times a week. 3, 4
Oh, like
times a week.
lifting? I thought you meant like
Yeah.
the different practices. No, I'll lift
Mm.
like 4 or 5 times a week, but I definitely move
Okay.
daily, like you're saying. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like the things that we're
So
talking about,
essential.
one of the, like, a huge shift for so many people is realizing it's easier when you just do it daily. Like it's
Yes.
easier when you just be fully you daily. So you're talking about ways that you take care of yourself. I'm sure you don't
Yes.
necessarily always 1,000,000% of the time feel like getting out and doing whatever, right?
No. Oh my God, I live in upstate New York. It is cold as balls here. Like, I don't want to go out for a walk most days. So I like slather my face with like petroleum jelly and like just get out there.
Really?
You like that? You like
That's
that,
a
Kat?
tip I didn't know.
Yeah. It keeps you from not getting windburn or like
Oh,
the frostbite here. You just like, yes. And
wow.
it makes you shiny and dewy. But oh my God, yeah. But if I don't move, I'm just a different person. Like I want to move my body every day. Like I know I truly want to. And I think that's like essential to knowing that like when I don't want to do something, I'm like, no, but I actually do. Like I actually do
Mm-hmm.
want to. Like
On that
I don't
on
want to
that
go
scale.
live, but I do. But I
Which I
do.
think is true as well as far as like sharing the bold, unapologetic message. Like, I don't want to when it's scary and I can't. Well, actually, but you do, and you can.
But you totally do. Yeah. And
What
it's
about?
like discerning, so discerning between the difference of like,
Oh, I love that you use
yeah.
that word. I think it's one of the most
Ugh.
important things, like learning how to have the discernment to follow our soul truth, or follow the actual flow. What about ways that you keep yourself really connected to that truth and to your intuition? Like, do you have a spiritual
Mm.
practice? Do you have any sort of way that you non-negotiably connect in with you outside of the fact that for a lot of us, I know for you as well, the work itself and the messaging itself is a form of doing that. Like the work is the cure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, my walks are kind of holy spiritual little containers for me. Um, and I am spiritual and that's a big part of it. But like practices, I would have to say, like practically speaking, I would say my walks and
Mm,
just talking. Like I'm a big talker, right? So I
mm-hmm.
process by talking things out. So you'll like frequently see me like, walking in circles or on my walks, I'm just like talking to God, myself, like all the things. And do you know, I just learned this, that like there's actually a word for this. Um, like therapists or I don't know what kind of therapists, but they do this like chair therapy with themselves. I think that's kind of what I'm doing, where you're just like
Yeah.
talking to yourself or talking to God and you're just like working it out
Yeah.
verbally. And there's something different when there's like verbal processing happening.
Mm,
There is a difference. Like
yeah.
there's something about, you talk about vibration, like what the fuck is your vocal cord doing? Like you are
Yeah.
vibrating, and that's where the
Right.
vibration starts. And you're just like, you are speaking it, and it's it's not an affirmation. It is like, it is just so much more.
Yeah.
Affirmation for me just feels like slapping lipstick on a pig. This is different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a surface-based tool that's not like wrong or ineffective per se, but it's such a teeny tiny little,
So teeny. Yeah.
yeah.
Most people are like using it just without the balls behind it, the ovaries. So if you want
Mm.
to,
I I love that. I feel like the title for this episode has to be something incorporating balls or ovaries, like the woman with the, I don't know. I'm gonna get it. It's
the
gonna be good though.
big ovaries.
The woman who brings, no, and then it's gonna sound like it's like a female cycle conversation. I gotta be careful. so so here's my last question for you though, because you do like that actually does sum it up, and I want to use that in some sort of way. But what would you like if you had my megaphone exercise, and you have like 60 seconds to speak to the whole world, or
Oh my
specifically to the
gosh.
women who need to hear this, the people who need to hear this, and they just know they need to like bring it from the ovaries, the woman who brings it from
Yeah.
the ovaries, and just let everything about who they are fly, not just because that's like cool and fun in business, and it is for sure, but because this is your soul work, it's your responsibility, and it's also a gateway to everything. Like, what would you say if you just had that 1 minute to give people just a shot of Meadow truth straight to the soul?
Mm. Well, I was talking about this very thing today, and my favorite quote from the Gospel of Thomas is, if you if you release or let out, I think is the actual word. If you release that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you don't
Mm.
release that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you.
Oh, I love that.
And it's just so fucking imperative. Like, it's not, and it's imperative for you,
Mm-hmm.
of course, because your life is going to be the first to change. But then there's countless lives that get to be changed as a result of your work in the world. And those ripples that start with you deciding that you have to release that which is within you and
Mm-hmm.
deciding to save yourself, like that's step one. But like it goes so much more beyond that. It's so imperative. I don't know if I'm probably not in like an ovaries balls mood. I'm more in like this, like, that's just that's just holy sacred shit right there. You just can't even argue with it.
I feel that. And
You
you
can't
know,
fucking argue with that.
I love that so much. I just think it encapsulates so much. You know what I love about this conversation the most is that I knew we were gonna have a fun, flow, fire conversation, all the things. I didn't like I just feel that everybody here is so honored that this conversation today came through in such a way where there's such
Mm,
depth and softness to it. But it's this, this depth and this softness and this just irrefutable truth. And then there's the reference and the knowledge of, yeah, and you let, the random crazy fun spiky bits out as well. But actually really what you've demonstrated here around who you are is just the level of depth, the
mm,
level of soul, the level of heart. And that's what it's ultimately about. And I just so honor the way you come from heart, you come from soul, you come from your truth. You let that incorporate, all the random, like more, I guess, obviously extra parts of it. But actually, if we really want to talk extra, there's nothing more extra than somebody who fully opens their heart and lets that be shared with the world and shown to the world.
mm.
And so, thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your genius and your wisdom. I love you. I appreciate you.
Oh, I love you, Kat. Thank you so much. This was like over and beyond so fun.
Yay.
So fun. Thank you.